Recently, I've been completely out of the loop with anime, where I just haven't watched as many recently, which in turn made my upload rate horrible, not posting anything in months. So I decided on a popular anime I've yet to watch that I took an interest in, which was Made in Abyss, and I've got thoughts on it, especially on how disturbing the show is. But before that, I will spoil quite a bit of the first season and a little bit of the movie, so be wary. So Made in Abyss is set on a remote island where a mysterious pit was discovered 1,900 years ago that holds powerful ancient relics that get rarer deeper down to tempt adventurers to go down to the depth as much as possible, gaining riches from those relics, to later establish an entire city around the pit, to where the majority of the city's ecosystem is based around the abyss, which is where the main cast come into this story. A bunch of little kids that all live in an orphanage, which are tasked with exploring the higher levels of the abyss, gathering relics to fund their orphanage, which is simple enough until you realize the abyss holds several types of monsters that could easily kill a kid. So I don't know why the members of the orphanage trust a bunch of kids to traverse such a dangerous place, but whatever. I suppose the kids can only go to the highest levels, which is the least dangerous, as the abyss comes with a set of rules to follow if anyone wants to survive down there. The deeper down the abyss goes, the danger increases. Creatures become extremely lethal, the environments get more complex for adventurers to explore. Any slight mistake could result in death, but what adventurers must really look out for is the curse of the abyss, which every explorer must have knowledge of before even considering going down the pit. The curse becomes a risk if someone were to ascend from inside. The danger increases the lower down an explorer is. If an adventurer were to ascend from a high level, they would experience a bit of dizziness, but the lower they go, the toll gets worse. The layer below that, an adventurer would then start to get headaches and nausea. Next, extreme pain and bleeding throughout the body. Under that would then lead to the loss of one's humanity, that could then lead to death. So it just gets worse and worse. It barely seems worth it to adventure down, with constantly needing to remember not to go up even slightly, or it'll be an extreme gamble on your life. This is where a little girl character is introduced, a 12-year-old who wishes to go down to the bottom of the abyss after receiving a letter that could be from her mother she never even met, telling her that she is waiting for her down in the lowest depth of the pit. So with her robot friend she found on the higher floors of the abyss, after being saved, they go off into the pit, putting both their lives in danger to find out the mysteries they want to uncover. To start the journey of our two main characters, Reg, the little robot boy who supposedly came from the very bottom of the abyss on some kind of mission, yet he completely forgot all about it due to amnesia or something, to the point where he doesn't even know what the abyss is. But besides that, Reg is pretty cool, with all his robotic equipment he can utilize, like his extending arm to help him in combat or to descend deeper into the abyss, then his huge hand laser blast that is really powerful and helpful. But the problem is when each time he uses it, he's got to take a 2-hour nap, no longer able to do anything else, so it's a big risk. But the good thing is, from him being a robot guy, is that he is completely unaffected by the curse of the abyss, so that's nice for him. Overall, Reg is quite an interesting character. He comes off as really mysterious, with questions pop in my head the more I understand him. Why was he down at the bottom of the abyss in the first place? Why is he a robot and who made him and why? What is the cause of his memory loss? All these questions tend to often float around my head while watching. It kept me engrossed with the series a bit more, to see if these questions will be answered throughout. Wish I could say the same for the other main character, Rico. Rico is someone who's been fascinated with the abyss for most of her life, where she's always wanted to explore the depths as much as possible, but wasn't able to because she's just a dumb kid. But once she received a message from the bottom of the abyss, she finally found a chance to explore as much as possible with a goal in mind. Yet compared to Reg, I don't find Rico to be anywhere near as interesting or enjoyable. I honestly find her quite annoying. They're a little too out there and energetic for me, with some of the things she would say are so irritating. There's one especially, but I won't get into it now. I'll leave it till later, it infuriates me that much. She's also quite smart in the knowledge of monsters and flaws down in the pit, which really helps them both on their journey, yet is also quite dumb, which just frustrates me more. For example, after Reg and Rico ended up in a dangerous situation where Reg resorted in using his hand blast, he tells Rico that he is going to shut down for 2 hours, so stay in this safe area so you don't go wandering off unprotected. And she does the complete opposite by leaving the area, dragging Reg along, almost getting them both killed like an idiot without even apologizing. Reg was the one who apologized for some reason. Sure, Reg didn't know what was happening at the time, but still. Now many can argue that she acts this way because she is a literal kid, which is fair in some sense, but I don't find any of the other kids in the series even close to annoying as she is. I may be overreacting a little bit, she's still nowhere near as irritating as other characters out there, yet I still don't enjoy her. Anyway, before I keep going and give the impression that I dislike this anime, there's actually quite a lot I like. To start with, the concept of the Abyss is quite intriguing. Having a whole city revolve around the pit is a neat idea. Then the design of the Abyss itself, with all the different kinds of levels the main characters explore, they are all unique. It somewhat reminds me of a recent anime, Delicious in Dungeon, a show that I absolutely love, with a similar concept, having different floors that look very different from one another. And Made in Abyss definitely caught my attention with this concept too. The pit has creative levels. The first floor is a classic grassland, with many caves around, but then it goes to some strange place where all the trees are upside down. It's very bizarre, and the layers keep changing constantly the lower they go down. There's a level where there are a bunch of water pools on top of these odd looking platforms. They go to an entire Iceland at some point. The floors vary in many ways. I find it to be fascinating, where all the areas are all taking place in the Abyss, yet they make them all look so different from each other. It's definitely what compelled and immersed me to the series the most. It's always fascinating to see what types of floors the characters end up as the series goes on. Also mentioning that the music is amazing. It's many of these orchestral symphonies that sound calming and wondrous to set the theme that these two are on an epic long journey with mysteries and dangers ahead of them, suiting with the atmosphere. It works really well to get me much more absorbed into the anime. I also enjoy some of the characters they come across on their travels. There's Ozin, who's an extremely tall woman that stands at around 2 meters tall and likes to abuse children, but let's ignore that because I absolutely love her design. Her tall figure and demeanor make her look so intimidating. Then by wearing her large black cloak and this flat round hat, it makes her look so damn cool. The two also come across an intriguing character, Nanachi, who looks like some kind of rabbit. I'm sure this is due to some fun, cute reason, and not due to something that is absolutely traumatizing that scarred them for the rest of their life. Which is now a good point to discuss how this anime can be disturbing in many ways. There are many moments that just get dark out of nowhere. Like when Rico once ascended from the Abyss, her eyes and mouth were gushing out with blood. Then to top it off, her arm was bloated so much for when she got poisoned before. And Reg is there trying desperately to keep himself together to cut her arm off before the poison gets worse throughout her body. It is brutal and so messed up in so many ways. That was just an example. There are many scenes that are just off-putting, like bugs that eat the inside of humans while they're still alive, or you just see the characters eat a human corpse because that's apparently normal down in the Abyss. Then a chilling scene where several kids turn into some kind of globby gloops. For a series that looks quite innocent with its art style and how the cast are mostly children, I didn't expect it to be this dark. It was a bit of a surprise. But it's not like this kind of gory, messed up stuff put me off the show. I honestly don't mind it too much. But there is another, different reason on why this series made me not want to watch it anymore. Because this show can be really weird in a very questionable way sometimes. It's hard to know where to even start with this. I'll start with what I mentioned before about how Rico would say some annoying and weird things that really got to me. She brings up how Reg has genitals. It's so weird. First time, whatever, it's been established now, cool. But she brings it up on other occasions in such a gross way, saying how it can change. It's so weird I don't even want to think about it. And that's not the end of it. There's more scenes that are so unnecessary. I don't even want to mention them. For the most part, the first season wasn't too bad. It was pushing it at times, especially one of the very last scenes of the season. And then it came to the movie, and that's when I had to call it quits. I don't even want to say the scene that pushed me over the edge, so I'll be a menace and show you the scene itself, because I am not describing it in words. Just remember, these characters are very much children.
I mean, his penis even gets bigger sometimes. What's a penis? Huh? It usually looks kinda like this, but whenever Reg sees boobs or touches Nanachi, it sorta changes. Oh, that looks like the thingy Papa has.
No, pause. Time to switch this garbage off. So as a whole, I'd say Made in Abyss is a good series. It has great ideas making you wonder and to get you question, hoping your thoughts would get answered. Yet, from the really strange scenes, I just couldn't anymore. If you are someone who could look past those gross scenes, then there is a good show to be had, but for me, nah. I'm done with this show, it's a little too disturbing.